I did want to speak Joao Felix. I think this previous Super Chat brings it up nicely. Reports shared by City Extra today that Joao Felix to City is a deal that Guardiola is exploring. Ati have sort of said that they're not adverse to selling him. He is available on the transfer market at the right price. Is this player... I mean, I made a flippant comment a minute ago. Has his talent been held back by Diego Simeone's training and tactics? Or is he not quite as good as the £140 million price tag that Ati bought him for? And would he be a success at Manchester City? What we're saying?
It's so hard to say, man. And you know what? I said it the other day. Remember, I said, why would Man City let Sterling or be up for letting Sterling and who's the other guy they're looking to let go, and Gabriel Jesus go without bringing someone else in? I knew they had to have something up their sleeve. There's no way they let go two attacking talents and not bring in. I know they brought in Haaland and then obviously Alvarez, but they still would need more if they want to actually get better. So it now makes sense. They're looking at Joao Felix. So yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because Diego Simeone, he's not really somebody that an attacking flair player will go to and flourish. So I'd love to see Joao Felix in the Prem. Brilliant talent. Does seem like he has stagnated. He signed like a 6-year contract, didn't he? Which was insane and unheard of at the time. Yeah, I'd love to see him in the Prem, but obviously I don't want to see Man City strengthen. So anywhere else but City. But yeah, I'd love to see him come in.
I think he's like a very, very good player technically and stuff. Like he's definitely somebody that when Arsenal were lightly linked to him, I was like, ooh, that would be an amazing signing. So I'm not going to turn around and say that he's not. It's not how I do things. The only thing I would say is that like City are already so good that like, I don't know if I could be any more scared. They already bought Haaland. Like it's just extra now. But like you said, Patrick, I don't think anybody was dumb enough to think that they were going to sell some of their best players or some of their attacking players and then not bring in somebody else. It just shows the financial strength that they have. You know, they can get rid of the likes of Sterling and Jesus and reinvest into somebody like Joao Felix. He's just one of those players where I think he would thrive in Pep's system, because even when you start talking about physicality and things like that, that doesn't really mean anything to City because they keep the ball. It doesn't matter. They don't have to play the physical game with everybody else. They don't get into basketball matches with anybody else. So I would imagine he'd be good. I just wonder what that front line looks like with Alvarez, Haaland, and Joao Felix. Joao Felix is more of like a 2 up top type player or a false 9. And I would imagine Haaland would start most games through the middle. So what does that mean out on the flanks? They're getting rid of wing players and they have a lot of center forwards now, or like players that primarily play center forward or in a 2. So it'd be interesting to see what they're doing. But yeah, it's just them just playing a different game than the rest of us.
So some breaking news for you all.
Ew, it must be Manchester United. Did you see that? Did you see the way he celebrated?
I'm very happy about this if it's true. Let me just get it out. Sorry. David Ornstein has just said, I think Christian Eriksen may end up at Manchester United.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I mean, everyone that attacked me for putting my little green tick out there, I told you it was on, your mugs. But yeah, I'm just saying. So that's some breaking news from Mr.
I thought that was big news. I thought it was big news.
Gargantuan news. You're all scared. All scared of what we did. I'm joking. Well, yeah, so we'll touch on that a little bit later. We kind of felt that was coming, though, based on the fact that as soon as Alistair Gold was like, oh, Spurs are suddenly not interested. Nah, it's because he got rejected, bruv.
Really? Nah, I don't
Same
think
thing
so.
with Jesus. You guys, all of a sudden, you guys weren't in it. You got rejected by Jesus, too.
Yeah.
man like Jordan was sitting here and he was smiling. You ain't getting it. All the Spurs fans walk around with their big double D chest, giving it the big one, and then suddenly, we're no longer interested. Yeah, because he picked that. He might not come to Man United, but I still feel it feels like it's going that way. But sorry, back to Joao Felix. What you saying, Mina? Do you feel like you got Phil Foden that plays in that position, but also the likes of Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling seems to be on their way out? He'll find a place in that team for him, won't he?
Yeah, and it's just crazy to me that City are probably the only people in the world that spend 50, 60, 70 million on players for squad depth purposes. Pep Guardiola, he's going after Champions League. He's not doing this to win the Premier League again. He's won it with the squad that he's had before. He's strengthened now with Haaland. Does Joao Felix fit into Pep's idea more than Diego Simeone? Yes. Do I want to see him at City? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But if they're letting Jesus go and they're letting Sterling go, then I think it makes sense for them to bring someone else in. I've even heard like rumors about Neymar potentially coming to City because he might be out of his way in PSG. So it's ridiculous what money can do for you sometimes.
Yeah, it really, really. I mean, I think he'll be a phenomenal sign. I think he, like you've said, I think he needs to go to a club that's going to play more expansive football. I think, Jess, your point was superb around they don't get into battles. Really, they just have the ball. He hasn't got to worry about that. And they're looking at the likes of Calvin Phillips. They've got Rodri. Haaland's a physical specimen. They've got physical players in that team already. Like, you don't need every player to be a battler. You don't need everyone to be like that. Not everybody has to have that kind of sparky. You need a handful of your players to be able to do it in the modern day game as well, where you can win the ball with a slide tackle now and still be sent off. Like, you don't kind of need that hustle and bustle anymore. But it certainly will be a brilliant signing for them, no doubt. I mean, go on, Agal.
What's City's English quota? Because they currently don't have a lot of English players in their team, do they? Am I tripping?
Well, it isn't about English quota; it's homegrown quota.
So
they've got Ake, Scott Carson,
Stones.
they don't
Walker, Stones.
Yeah, Stones, Walker,
if they sign
Sterling,
Calvin Phillips, Foden.
Yeah, they've got enough. They've got enough.
No,
and
that's
what they do is they have like 16 players that they rotate through, and then everybody else is like kids from the academy, and then some of them hit the quota. They're of age. They're so smart. They're fine.
Yeah, I'm thinking how are they going to fit all these players in?
They got Palmer as well. There's Grealish, but you say fit them all in.
Oh, like, about Grealish.
Pep just rotates, doesn't he? They all do fit in. They all get to play. He and that's why they stereotypically go far in all competitions. They just keep fighting. That's why they were able to win the League Cup 5 years on the bounce, because they just have such a big squad. They rotate and the system prevails. The system is the most important part in a Pep Guardiola team. Yes, everyone relies on individual brilliance within the system, but the system generally prevails. And I think, remember when Chelsea back in like 04 to 06, they had a bench that could win the league, but you couldn't keep that bench happy because there was a main 11 and you had like a main sort of 13, 14 players that played. And everybody else is kind of sat there, not really getting a lot of game time, and it causes problems. It's just different now, and yeah, look, they're going to do bits. And I think City could be so dangerous next year. These signings all look, again, on paper, you think about all these signings, and none of them you're going, maybe, maybe not. Some people don't like Calvin Phillips. I think you put Calvin Phillips in a Pep system, you're going to see a serious player. Cucurella, we know how good he's been in the Premier League. He's been excellent. And Haaland's just a cheat code. This guy, I said it before, this guy next season is going to break Mo Salah's goal scoring record. He's an absolute phenom. He's a phenom. He's a cyborg, or whatever they're called, those things. They're going to be crazy City next year. And Liverpool have got to do something to respond, though, don't you guys think? Because they've got Darwin. I know they've given James Milner a new deal, but surely with these players looking like they're going to City, if Liverpool don't dip into their wallet, how, like on a real level,
they can't compete financially. They can't financially compete with that.
That's
they
a nice
can't.
way.
Like, go ahead.
I was going to say, if Man City are going out and signing Haaland and your response is Darwin Núñez, I'm sorry, it's just levels, man. You can't compete with that. You just can't. Yeah. You can't compete with that.
And they spent so much on Darwin. Like, that's what they're doing for the summer. Like, I know there's still like little rumors coming out that they may look at a midfielder or something like that, but like financially, you can't compete with these guys. Like, there's just no way. And the way that they're selling their players, I mean, Jesus has a year left, and it doesn't matter because financially they can afford for him to leave for free. So the price stays up. They'll get 40 for Sterling, 50 something from Arsenal for Jesus. Like, you can't compete with them. It's just too difficult. I don't think Liverpool can do anything to respond. I really don't. What can they do? Who can they sign?
You never know.
They can give Salah a contract extension. They can do that. Because realistically, what players will look at Liverpool and choose Liverpool over City, knowing that they're not going to pay the players what they probably are worth? Obviously, right now we live in a money market when it comes to salaries. City pay competitive money. United pay stupid money to players. But Liverpool are struggling to pay their best player, or arguably one of their best players under the Klopp era. And players might look at that and feel like that's not a reason to come to them. They were linked to Tchouameni. He picked Real Madrid over them. Maybe this is the downfall that we might be starting to see. I don't know. That's why.
But
Terry,
there's magic of Anfield and there's Klopp.
Terry, who are Liverpool linked to for the rest of the window?
But there hasn't been very many links. I mean, Liverpool don't get very many links anyway. They keep things so hush. It's unbelievable. And even if links are real, their tier one shut it down straight away. They toe the party line massively. They listen. People saying, "Oh, you got an agenda, Terry." I haven't got an agenda. I'm speaking facts. Liverpool are a fantastic team. They needed the quad. But everybody needs to improve each year. Darwin Núñez is an improvement on what you already had. But then Mane leads. So you've lost a player that's been clutch, that's been brilliant for you. Maybe Luis Diaz steps up to the plate, but you've gone like for like. Origi's gone, Mane's gone. You brought in Darwin Núñez. So you actually
Minimal's going, or Minimal, have you?
Minamino's going. You're losing players. I cannot imagine Liverpool going the rest of this summer without buying a player or two. Like, for me, I think they're playing it down. I think they're just trying to keep the noise away from the club. Yep. They can't let all those players go and sign nobody else, especially with City improving the way they are and everybody else behind Liverpool improving. I just can't see a world where FSG allow that to happen. Well, Jurgen Klopp's not going to be happy for that to happen either. If they do and sign nobody else, I still predict Liverpool finishing top 4 because they're brilliant. But I just don't believe they can win the league because they're already behind City, very close. But too much for me, especially
it's got to be a midfielder, right? It has to be a midfielder.
But who?
They would have to try to go get I think the only signing that would give them that ooh and awe factor is probably Jude Bellingham. That's it.
But Jude's Jude's good, and I watch Jude a lot. But Jude's not the difference from Liverpool finishing second to Liverpool finishing first. He's not. He has the potential to be that because I think he's going to be one of the best midfielders in the world. But as of today, he's not that guy. If you want
well, how do you improve upon their midfield then? How do you improve upon it if the player's not out there?
Again, I think Frankie de Jong's a good example of doing that. Get someone who can progress the ball and move it into that final third a lot faster.
David, get out of here. I don't need this stress.
I want Frankie de Jong at Chelsea. I hate when people are like, oh, he's so average and he's been awful at Barcelona.
No, he's nowhere near average.
Look at Barcelona. Look what he's had to deal with, and you're telling me and his numbers are still great, and you're acting like this guy's just some a good football player. No, this guy is world class. And if you want someone who's going to change your team tomorrow, you go and get Frankie de Jong. He'll progress you the ball. He'll eliminate players in those spaces. I think he's a fantastic player. And if Liverpool want to compete, that's
really a shame. Manchester United are about to ruin him, right? He's such a good player.
I don't think he's going to sign because Man United are just allergic to doing good things. I think it'd be such a good thing for them to sign it, but you're just allergic to doing it.
You say that, and I'd love Mina's opinion on this. When it comes to United and these players, wouldn't it be beautiful to sign? I mean, how would you feel emotionally if we signed 2 or 3 players this summer, and they start well, play well, and maintain their quality or get better? How shocked would you be? Probably a better question.
I would be shocked, but that would be definitely an improvement from prior transfer windows, 100%. Even if we weren't to battle for top 4, if we brought in signings that would do good, and it depends on obviously the positions. Because if we're bringing in positions that don't really need to be filled, I feel like there's priorities when it comes to United for positions. Obviously, a centre midfielder, a DM, and I think a centre back and a right back is our priorities. But I think we're overlooking up front our problems that we have up front.
No, I agree with that. They need more in that attack. There's no doubt. I mean, the Greenwood has caused this problem, hasn't he? Because obviously they didn't expect to have that hole in the squad this year. But look, Liverpool need it. And look, I spoke to a Liverpool fan at work the other day. He's like, I'm not worried. We'll get Jude Bellingham next summer. No need to stress. And I do get that logic. But it could be another year where you don't win the league. And for me, it's like hearing Liverpool fans be that accepting of it. It's almost... You're the most decorated club in England. You celebrate and dine out, and rightfully so, on the fact that you've won the most amount of trophies. Just being acceptant of not spending now so you can win another one of those trophies that you love so much. I don't believe you. I don't believe you're as relaxed or as happy as you're making out. There's toe in the party line, but I can smell it. I can smell the frustration. Dom Hassam obviously maybe goes a little bit too far sometimes, the way he calls out his club. But that's everybody's take and view and opinion. Viewers, was it Louis? Yeah, it was Louis. He literally, Louis came in the room. Me and KJ were in the studio. So, and it wasn't like a dig. It was a genuine off-camera question. How you doing, mate? Yeah, good. Happy with Darwin. Great. What do you think? You think it's wrong to not sign any more midfielders, or are you comfortable? Yep, I'm comfortable. Bellingham next year, nothing to stress about. And then he left. But he just said it, and it's like, you're lying. I can hear it in your voice. Do you know what I mean? Squeaky voice. He just he didn't really believe it. It was Louis. Viewers.